Alright, today we are going to be looking at a Big Time Muscle diecast. This is a 1972 Plymouth GTX 1/24th scale in petty blue. I don't usually historically buy Big Time Muscle because they are the cheaper brand, but I'd like to find one of the Dodge Charger Daytonas. I don't remember what. Oh, 74 Barracuda. It's not listed on the back of this one. And was pretty decently happy with it. They're not super greatly detailed. They're definitely lower cost than M2, but M2s are up to 25 bucks, and I'm really tired of all my local Walmarts having delivery vans and never anything else. So this is a pretty cool one, and we're going to take a look at it. Okay, so when I talk about I'm not a huge fan of these because their build quality is just lower, like this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Like the mirror is kind of on like a rubber thing, so it's not very solid. It wouldn't take much to come off. Front wheels don't turn. You do have a decently real interior, not super great. Engine bay really doesn't have much of any detail. If you compare it to an M2, they're so much better, but the hood does open. Doors do open. Front end is pretty decent. This does have a lot of good weight to it. Like on the M2s, the engine will actually be its own separate piece that you can see the bottom of from underneath, whereas this is all just one underneath piece. Engine and transmission are usually more defined underneath like that. City of Industry, California, Jada Toys, 72 GTX. Looking over at the back, it's not terrible, it's not bad. Trunk's empty. Jada and Big Time Muscle really are putting out the most muscle cars at this point, and for $15 they're not unreasonably priced. I very rarely buy M2 anymore just because they're up to 25 a car, and while they're great models, it's still 25 a car. And here it is on the shelf next to the 74 CUDA, and kind of give an illustration of what I was talking about. This is my 71 CUDA that is an M2, and you can see, just the light's not great, but you can see defined engine underneath, and like flip it over, like the engine and transmission are like their own separate pieces. It's just so much more detailed than in the cheaper cars. Like that's the difference. You know, that's why you buy an M2. Even in the old NASCAR, you know, that's got a drive shaft in it. So that's why I'm not usually, and the mirror's a lot more solid. That's why I'm not usually a big fan of the cheaper ones, but these are some really cool models, and right now there's just not a lot out there. Part of it is because people are buying them. Part of it is because most of these are all sold in assortments. It's like none of my Walmarts have gotten M2s in 6 months because they got a shipment of delivery vans and they haven't sold, and they're not going to get another shipment of M2 models until those sell. So that's just one of the things of retail, and that's one of the things that retail really doesn't have a way to combat, because there's just not really a way to do it unless you're just going to throw those items out the window. But even then, you'd have to like have some kind of report that told you, hey, these have sat here for 6 months. And so, but that is the 72 GTX.